Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Holly, and welcome back to Chronicle. This is the home where a bunch of my favorite people and I will get together and tell some awesome stories and hopefully take you guys along for the ride with us. Unfortunately, we don't have the entire gang together as I promised last week because life is hard. But we hope, fingers crossed, that Leah and Meg will be able to join us next session. Everybody will be here. Well, we'll see how it goes. Today, we're going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, so if you're not caught up by now, you don't know what it is, get to know. It's about time. You can always catch up on the last couple of sessions of our campaign, which we'll be returning to tonight, on our YouTube channel. Links are in the description below. What an intro. Anybody else have anything else they want to say?
That well done, Holly. A round of
Yep.
applause.
Follow us on the gram.
Alright.
Going to be great for the audio.
Okay,
Just one clap.
let's get back into it.
One large clap.
Over the tips of the distant, jagged outline of the raised bend peaks, the golden glow of a rising sun bathes the world in warmth once again. As burning oranges crest over the horizon, the sickly pale hue of a landscape enveloped in moonlight is chased away under the appearance of pastel pinks and deep purples. The higher the sun climbs, the higher the flowers below stretch, unfurling their petals and reaching out for the veil of light that draws itself across the realm of Wyladium. Fields of muted yellow and green slowly transform under the return of the sun, as the landscape is once again filled with verdant rolling hills and swaths of golden wheat and hay. On the opposite side, the moons of Wyladium drop lower and lower in the sky. The silver hues of its light are pulled further and further away from the waking world as its denizens begin to stir and come to life with the nature around them. A cold breeze wafts through the air, rustling the treetops and whipping through lush, knee-high grass as the cold grip of the final fingers of night are pried open, before the moons fall completely behind jagged peaks of the dawn veil, obscured once more until the next nightfall. In the distance, the warmth of a campfire begins to ebb away, replaced by the burgeoning sunlight over the horizon. Faint spirals of smoke curl upwards towards the sky, whilst its fading embers crackle and smoulder with the last of its life still clinging to the burning brush and timber within its struggling flames. The nearby Wallia River rushes past, the sound filling the air as chirping cicadas are chased away by crowing roosters and the brilliant lilting melodies of sparrows. Huddled together around the smouldering fire are a multicoloured, diverse group of adventurers from all walks of life, busy debriefing and processing the events of their sudden and unexpected meeting with a member of the primordial spirit. A crow dives overhead to settle in a nearby tree. Its cawing fills the air, joined by 2, then 3 more crows that crest over the horizon and begin to glide towards the tall trees, waving gently in the breeze. What would you guys like to do?
So they just finished. Dilbert just finished his massive one-on-one fight before, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay. Hey man, are you all right? You look like you kind of got a few bruises on your scales.
Yeah,
Scales?
yeah. I reckon I could go for a rest or something. I don't know.
I can give you a band-aid. I'll cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level.
Sure.
Thanks.
So, give me a second.
We're gonna
You
need it.
get 4, 6.
Is it more than 8?
Yeah,
Yeah, then I'm full.
it's like it's an amount. I should
More
maybe
than
just
8.
yeah,
It's
more
in
than 8.
If it's more than 8, then
Well,
it's
because
fine. Thank you.
the minimum amount of healing I can do to someone is +7. So with that one, minimum I could give you is 9.
No, that works well. Well, do we want to just keep going on the road we were traveling before, I suppose?
Well, we haven't left yet. We're gonna leave soonish.
Oh, wait, didn't we have to stick around for
We
a
have
couple
another
days?
meeting, I believe, with
Yes.
Zola, Florane.
Yes. We told him. Yeah. We said that we would meet with her before we left, before our long journey.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to. It's up to you what you'd like to do.
I feel like
It is about, I'd say, probably approaching 5 in the morning at this point.
Oh Jesus.
Why are we up? Why did we not have a long rest or something? Why is it 5 in the morning?
Because
We did, 'cause
Dilbert's,
I had a whole thing.
At
Okay.
3 a.m. in the
Yeah,
morning, he had to
it was
meet.
a
It was a big thing.
yeah, it was a thing.
You got
Okay.
hit a couple of times.
I did. Slapped around.
Did the guy who you were fighting die or like?
No, just a bit of
okay.
casual slap and tickle.
Yeah.
Alright.
Slap and tickle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Casual, slap, and tickle.
So are you like inducted into some sort of secret society or something now?
Look, I have no idea what that was or like what they wanted from me. I just like
Are you in a cult?
maybe I might have been inducted into a cult. I literally have no idea.
She
we have
seemed
to-
really cool. Can we be a part of her cult too?
I don't know. Do we have to keep our finances
I think
separate?
I think it's kind of a like an exclusive deal kind of thing.
Like-
you have to be. It's like the kind of thing you need. Like you need an invite.
Well, why don't we get an invite? We're cool. Look at us.
No.
I'll just pat Kruger on like the head. Be like, yeah, we are very cool. Like, someone,
I'm cool.
I,
think
I,
I'm cool.
are you guys like lizard people or something? Like, why are you guys cool? I mean, you're the lizardy thing, but the rest of you also. Does this world just have lizard people? Why are you cool?
I mean, I'm cold-blooded, I suppose, but
No, not like not like cool as in cold. It's
I'm like literally cool, but
like cool as in awesome. You know, like you're badass. and
oh,
you're
like dragons.
He has no blood, so that's pretty cool.
Mm,
Am I with everyone now?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems
What
so.
happened to you?
I don't know. I was off at the blacksmith doing my own
No,
kind
that
of
was-
thing.
that
No,
was
no, that
way
was
later.
way.
That was
You
way
were
later
at
than
the
that.
event. You were at the whole thing. Well, I'd be down to just like sleep for the rest of the night, I suppose, and then.
If you want to, yeah.
then-
It's up to you.
How
when you
long is
wanna-
a short rest?
like an hour.
Well, I usually say half an hour because it's easier that way. But up to you
So-
guys what you want to do.
Well, a long rest is 8 hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think we have time for a long rest.
Or do we have a
Being
meeting the
fine.
next day?
No time given. So it's whenever you guys want to leave to go on to your next journey.
We can
Well,
take
I
a long
mean,
rest then.
you
and
I
then
guys
suppose we could do a long rest and then have the meeting and then leave.
Do we have a meeting to go to?
Yeah.
Well, are we
Who's meeting?
meet? Do
We're
we
meeting
want to
Zola.
meet with Zola or not?
We
I
said,
mean-
yeah, she said we agreed that we would meet Zola like a couple of days before we left.
Oh, chill. I thought Rosita-san was our meeting.
Nah, Zola.
Chill. Let's.
Do we need to talk to Razir-san? Does anyone remember?
We already did.
Nah, we
Oh,
got,
okay.
yeah.
We got our we got paid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got
yeah,
paid.
I remember. What I forgot what I bought with my money. Oh, I bought potions. I remember now.
I didn't buy nothing.
That's
So
right.
it.
Oh, yeah.
You've
What
still
would you
I
you can
don't
yeah.
need
If you want to
anything.
go, if you want to go into the.
I think I've already
town-
got a whole bunch of
These guys
supplies
all
on
got
me.
clothes and whatever.
I might go get some more rations 'cause I've only got a day of
We,
rations.
I think.
I
John?
have.
Didn't you buy enough rations for everyone?
Alright,
I've
cool.
got enough rations
Yeah, no.
for you.
You should have a ration. How many days rations?
Well,
Like
I
7?
actually this DM retconning here. I said that the journey to Ronalon would probably only take you guys a week, which, for reasons that we'll see later, is not correct. It'd probably take
okay.
you about 10 days. So I'm just going to give you guys 10
Okay.
days rations for you.
Okay,
don't have
cool.
to pay
Vibes,
the
vibes.
difference. So I just fucked up. So-
So we bought. June
Fine.
bought 7 days worth of rations. For
I've got
everybody.
17
Yeah.
days worth of rations anyway, so
okay, all good.
Yeah, because you start with
Yeah.
You start with 10.
yeah.
So yeah, it'll probably take you about 10 days to get there.
Do we want to get like mounts or anything, or a carrot, like a wagon or anything?
I think I tossed that up, but nobody was on board with that.
I don't think we had the funds.
Yeah, I don't
That
think we have
too.
enough money for a wagon.
How much is it?
I mean, we don't need a wagon. We can just
We can
walk
walk.
and enjoy and like feel the grass in between our toes and enjoy the nice,
Okay.
fresh, warm air. It's quite nice. It'll be beautiful.
But I want to see what a horse is.
You know what a horse is, right?
We don't have horses.
You know the but you know
Wait,
the word.
Yeah,
Never,
it's,
have
I've
you
seen
never
them
seen a
in.
horse before?
It's in a book.
It's like a dragon that walks on the ground.
No, not what he said. We've seen horses in Omirum, right?
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
a dragon that looks nothing like a dragon, and walks on 4 legs.
Can it breathe anything? Like
No.
No,
fire?
it just makes a weird noise. That's it.
makes a weird noise.
Do you know what a horse is, Gilbert?
I think so. maybe horses look different in the mountains.
Do you ride? Do you ride like dragons or stuff like that?
No.
Wow. Oh,
I've seen a dragon maybe once in my life,
oh, that would
and
be cool.
Well, twice if you count when I saw it in my head, but that's beside the point.
I mean, if that was the case, then I've literally seen giants hundreds of times, but I know I haven't. So I'm gonna go with a no on that one. Guys, it's early. I'm gonna take a nap.
How we
Yeah, I
going?
reckon we go to bed.
We're gonna take like a long rest or like a short rest. How long are we thinking for nap?
Let's just take a long rest. We got time.
Yeah, and
We can chill.
I'd like to get my key points back.
Joe?
I believe you get your key points back on a short rest.
Oh, do I?
I don't get my
for
spell
monk.
slot back in a short rest.
Yeah, well, you can get your spell slots back, which would be nice.
At least that's what happened when I played the level 15, was
Monk?
it, Monk? In the
Yes.
Space Adventure?
Monk's
I
15,
think
right?
I think that is.
Well, you went a monk in the
true.
space one.
Yeah,
shot.
3
Is it
points
one
per short rest. It is
You
per
were-
short
oh,
rest.
yeah, you
Multi-class.
Yeah.
It is short rest.
Alright,
Get
so-
them
Well,
back
it's
on
up
the
to you
short
guys
rest.
what you want to do.
Rest
Well,
would be good.
I'd like to have a long rest potentially if
that's
we
fine.
can.
That's fine.
It'll just be like late afternoon
Yeah,
when
that's fine.
you.
Have a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's go long rest and
Cool.
go from there.
Take a long rest.
James?
Well, this lot sleeping. I don't know. I'm not feeling particularly tired. I'm desperate for some bloody wire.
Okay.
I spent all day looking for some. Can I see even any crappy like?
Roll an investigation check. Are you just checking the area around you? Now?
Yeah, like
Sure.
barbed wire or anything.
Roll an investigation check for me.
19.
19. I'll say with a 19 that because the abandoned mill that you were in is obviously been stripped of most furniture, you can get you can gather a couple of bits of copper wire. Do you have a specific amount you're trying to collect, or
I probably no more than.
I'd say you could probably find like 5 or so, just like if they look rusted a little bit and kind of bent into weird shapes, but I'd say you can pick up 5 decent strands of copper wire.
Sure. Well, with that, would there be any nice flat, hard working surfaces nearby?
There's probably like a shitty desk,
Sure.
but you get it's not totally flat. It kind of rocks when you press down on it, but it is relatively flat. It just looks like it's kind of aging oak. But yeah, it seems usable as a desk.
Sure. Well, what I'd like to do while everyone is sleeping, and hopefully not too loud, is I'd like to take off my studded armor and
Okay.
kind of thread this copper wire through so that it contacts the Horvox core on my back and
Mhm.
comes out at the arm.
Sure.
The idea is like kind of channels the magical energy.
Cool.
And I don't know. In doing so, I think turn my armor into arcane armor or whatever
Nice.
for my
Do you
specialization.
have to roll anything to turn it into
I don't-
arcane armor?
I
I'm pretty
don't
sure with
think
artificers
so.
they just have that
You-
skill,
you
don't
just-
they?
you
Yeah,
just
it says I need blacksmith's tools, but I bought other tools.
Yeah, you bought smith's tools.
Oh,
I
I think whatever.
And
I
you
bought,
can turn
but I
them
can
into
turn them
any, yeah.
into
Sure.
blacksmith's tools.
Go
So I'd
for it
like
then.
to, do that. Is there something I need to do on my?
You know, you do it during a short or a long rest. So it's just
Well,
like
it says just as an action I can do it.
yeah, you just do it. You just turn the armor into arcane armor.
Is-
and you being a warforged, you can put your armor into yourself. So
Is
it's
that
like a-
something I need to like do
No, you
in
just
here?
do it.
So
It just happens. Yes.
so there's no things I need to change.
Oh, we need to. Or maybe equip the armor. So go
Yeah.
to your inventory.
Yep.
And then you have the armor.
I've got my studded leather armor. Do I
Yeah.
need to turn
So
it?
You got
add
the
it.
red tick next to it.
Yep.
Yep. No, you're good then.
So it's just arcane armor now,
It's
even
just arcane armor now.
just
What does
flavor.
Arcane Armor do?
It acts as his arcane focus, so now he can actually properly cast spells through it that require
Sure, cool.
certain components. He'll still need like gold and stuff for certain spells, but you know, it's kind of like the heart of his class. So,
Mhm.
or it's like his subclass. So,
Nice.
There you
Awesome,
go.
good stuff.
Yeah, so spending some time with the studded leather armor that you acquired in the crypt, you can punch some holes in the leather and kind of thread through what little bits of wire you find, kind of joining them together to create one long strand, and yeah, you have your arcane armor.
Cool.
Does it say how long that takes to do?
It
I'd
just says as
assume
an
by the-
action. So
Okay. I'd assume by the end of the long rest anyway that it's done, so...
and just
Yeah.
at the crack of dawn, I'd like to shoot a lightning bolt into the sky to wake everyone up.
Nice.
At
Just-
the crack of dawn?
Yeah,
Like,
just
an
do it a
hour-
little bit excited, you know.
Wake everyone up from our rest.
Sure.
I immediately go for my sword. What the hell was that?
There you go.
Well, I'm glad to see that works.
What did you just do that again?
I'll do it again. Another bolt into the sky.
Does that
You
take
can
a spell
shoot.
slot?
What is that?
Can I also breathe lightning into the air?
Sure.
To try and show up.
As you guys are in this small clearing around the abandoned mill,
Are we resting in an abandoned mill?
yeah.
That's where the fight. That's where the fight happened.
I thought we'd go back to a tavern to take the long rest.
We have camping supplies.
Alright,
There you
sure.
go.
I bought tents for everybody.
Okay, cool.
So
When you
Sorry.
miss a session.
Yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck?
What's happening?
We have
Lightning
rations and
launcher.
We have camping supplies.
That's so cool. Sorry.
Yeah, so as you guys are in this clearing, woken up by and then lots of little flashes of lightning from Dilbert breathing lightning into the air. You guys are still, you're halfway through your long rest.
I
so
assume I
you
just
can-
stick my head out the window and just stare.
I actually just did that in my sleep and then I went back to bed.
No, I'm gonna be like, can I like touch? Will you like blow up if I touch it? Is that-
Nope. I don't think I will, but you might.
Okay. Wait. So can we just do that forever now?
I hope so. I mean, it's a bit of a crude solution at the moment. Hopefully I can improve it a bit in the future, but
Wait. And I'm just like looking over your body, just kind of like, wait. You put the armor in? How did you do that? Wow. You're so smart. Wait, can you like? And I'll take out my sword and I'm like, hey, you've given me an idea. Can you like make this better?
there might be something I can do.
Because, like, you just sort of made your arms into, like, I don't know, wands of lightning is the best way I can think of it. So, if you could, like, do something cool to my sword or something, that would be awesome.
I think what I'll do, this is out of character, I'll use one of my infusions to infuse your sword.
And that does?
It is, this magic weapon grants a +1 bonus to attack damage rolls made with it.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Okay.
How
Yes.
many times can you do infusions?
I think 3?
Per level.
Or is it 1? Can I just use each of my infusions once?
You know 4, and then you can have 2 active, and then
Oh,
remain
okay, there we go.
active until you decide to deactivate it.
Okay. What type of
what
weapon do you have?
It's a great sword.
Great sword. Cool.
Then you need to give it to him.
Nah, he'll work it out. Coolly.
So what does it look like when you like infuse my sword?
It's +1 great sword
Yeah,
for
but-
you.
Yeah, but I want to know what he does, like flavor wise.
I suppose if I have any of this like wire left over, maybe a little bit,
Yeah.
I might wrap it around the hilt and give it a zap.
Okay. This
Hopefully
is
some of that
awesome.
energy stays in there.
I give it a couple swings, like. I don't know how you did it, but it feels sharper, heavier, but also lighter. A9, you're the best. I go to sleep, and I just finish my long rest by cuddling my sword as I sleep.
Wake up covered in cuts.
I know. So sharp you cut yourself on it as you're sleeping. Alright, anything anybody else wants to do before the long rest ends, or are we all happy to finish the long rest now?
How much longer is left in the long rest? I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't even need
I
the
mean,
rest,
for that,
so-
I'd say probably you wasted 2 hours, so 6 hours left.
Sure. I'll just stand still for the rest of it.
Just like idling, just there.
Watching over us like a creepy Pinocchio.
Yes. Okay, so you guys all, at the end of your long rest, come to consciousness, and you can see that the sun has well and truly made its way across the sky. It's almost, it's late afternoon, so it's almost at the very end of its passage. So I'd say probably around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And you can see that there are birds still around, kind of coasting gently across these fields of gold that line the exterior of this clearing. There's also trees in the distance rustling. Siri, God. Maybe I need to disable Siri. That second time in a row. It's not very cash money. Anyway, so you guys are all free to do what you'd like to do.
Good morning. About time you all wake up.
Ow. 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 I'm covering cuts because I was sleeping with a sword. Ow. Oh, okay. Abelard, do you have any band-aids?
Why?
I'll just show you my torn
What the
face.
What the fuck
knuckles.
happened?
Look.
I don't think he actually needs a heal.
No, I don't.
No.
I kind of went to sleep hugging my sword, and look, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Just don't do it again, and I'll try bandage him
I
up.
can't help but feel partially responsible for this.
Oh, it was worth it.
I'll try bandage up. Kruger, this is what I know.
Sure.
Medicine check.
Yes, roll a medicine check for me, please.
11.
11. I'm going to say you get most of the cuts. They're relatively obvious, given that it's a great sword. You can see the kind of thin red lines cutting through Kruger's skin, but it's relatively easy to patch you up.
How did it not wake you up?
Just
I'm a deep sleeper.
Just remember, never do that again. That is generally a terrible idea.
Okay, I won't do that.
Like, just
I might do it again.
Just like keep your weapons like an arm's length away. So if we're attacked in the night, you can still grab them, but that they're not cutting you whilst you sleep.
Lesson learned.
Lesson has not been.
Lesson has not been learned.
Much more inside that.
Okay, so you guys, I'm assuming, head back to the town.
Yeah.
So as you guys enter, having passed through this wild and untamed area back into the fields that are well kept and currently being tilled by farmers, you can see some of them kind of standing up, leaning over, and wiping sweat off their head as they kind of rake through all of these fields of wheat and try and collect as much as they can. It definitely seems, as you approach the town itself, that most of the fear surrounding the oozes and the boarded up windows that you'd passed, the actual clumps of ooze that were still clinging to signs, and the blood that was in front of the Cat's Eye Tavern, as you go past, has well and truly been cleaned, and you can see that it's much more of a bustling street. There's still a bit of caution, with people kind of doing double takes at you all, given your heavy weaponry and knowing that you are somewhat involved at least a little bit with the oozes that besiege the town. They're kind of a little bit fearful, staring at you all, but it seems like you get one or two nods of appreciation as you pass. People seem to recognize you for what you did for the town, but for the most part, people seem to be trying to return back to regular life and come to a sense of normalcy now that a tragedy has occurred in their town. I'm assuming you're heading to the prison of the Rosita Sun's office. As you head up, this building is lined with guards. So the outside, the actual exterior of the building, has two sets of guards posted at the door, and you can see that there are several regular patrols that loop around the building. The well-worn exterior that was kind of grimy and seemed like it had seen better days has been cleaned and is slowly being repaired. You can see that the halflings returned to construct the platforms that were ringing around the exterior of the high tower. But as you approach the guards themselves, they give you a nod and kind of wave you in. And it's relatively easy to ascend the stairs. You can hear that there's faint talking as you step up towards the Rosita Sun's office, high in the top of the tower. and it seems like the blood that was smeared along from Busby's attack up ascending the stairs has been wiped away as best it can, though the red is still currently staining the stairs itself, seemingly in the process of cleaning it off as much as they can. But as you reach the landing, you can still hear the same talking inside. It's muffled. Seems like it's been done in a low voice, but you reach no other resistance. The door is closed in front of you.
Can I make out who's talking in the room?
Yeah, roll a perception check for me, please.
Can I assist?
You have to do it beforehand.
That's
So speedy.
5.
5. A bit too hard to make out exactly who it is. You can hear what sounds like one higher voice and a deeper voice.
Was it this heavily guarded last time we came? Or is
I
someone
assume-
important visiting, given they've cleaned the place up and...
I think they might have increased the guards considering the attack as well.
I think it might just be regular response to like shit got dirty, clean it.
Anyway,
Shit got broken, defend it.
I will knock on the door.
Sure. So, as you knock on the door, you hear the talking stops, and then come in.
Cool. I open the door and walk through.
Inside the actual room itself, you only see Zola sitting at the desk itself, though you can see that there is an apparatus that appears to be like a cone of sorts, kind of suspended and swaying slightly in between, almost like a what are they called? Those it's like a Newton's cradle.
Yep.
Almost like that kind of apparatus.
A perpetual motion machine.
I guess so. I don't know if that's what they call, but it's like one of those with the
Yeah.
The physics
the-
balls.
Yeah,
the
Oh,
balls.
It's specifically the balls one.
Yes, that's the unit
Yeah,
cradle.
it's
Yeah.
like it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like that. Except it's just kind of suspended and seems to be moving within the actual cradle itself. And you can hear that there's a faint noise from the exterior of this cone, kind of pointed towards Zola. But you can't make out much of the words as you enter. Seems to stop. Very well. I take it you're leaving now?
Yeah, we got our supplies. We're gonna be off very soon to Romulan, so we thought we would check in with you just before we left.
Excellent. Well, have you found anything out about the amulets or anything about this Zushtar tube?
I think we know that it's something to do with planar travel. Is that right?
Yes.
And I look at the brains of the group.
I mean, we figured out that much. We're heading to investigate further.
Very well. Like I told you, I decided to contact the Countess, Almaine Seron, and see if she would be able to give me more information about the amulets. And I was actually just speaking to Eumos, her husband, the Count of the Umbral Expanse. And, well, I think I have some information that might interest you, at least a little bit. It seems as if these amulets have been stolen, I suppose you could say, or apprehended from the Lunarium during their transport across the Soltaran borderlands. So there was quite a ruckus, an upstir of several Legion members who were searching for these amulets, and it seems as if they were under our noses this whole time. I believe their destination was originally Rumbellium to the Grimoisian Legion for the purpose. Unfortunately, I am not aware. They don't tell me those sorts of things. But I know that they also were supposed to be sent from Rumbellium to Port Shasanti. I assume for analysis, but like I said, I don't exactly get told these things anymore, so as best I can tell. these were, like I said, dwarven artifacts. The Count had some interesting information about. Apparently, they were made during the age of regents and scions for the dwarven king of this period, Aaron Dimspear. But unfortunately, we were interrupted before he could give me much more information, so I suppose when I find out anything more that I think might be useful for you, I'll do some digging, and suppose I'll get in contact with you, wherever you are, in Runnelorm.
Does the mention of this king ring a bell at all to
Sure, roll a
you
history
or
check.
Jimmy or anyone? Okay. Oof, not rolling hot tonight. That's a 4.
You've heard the name before, but for you, it's definitely one of those names that you'd hear in a history class or during tutoring and kind of just immediately dismiss after you've learnt about it. But you do know that usually Aaron Dimspear is considered a great king of Runnelorm.
Okay. Great king.
Very well, so that's all I really was able to find out. I don't suppose any of you read Dwarvish? No? Well, that's okay. I suppose you're going somewhere where lots of people read it in Runnelorm, so
That's very true.
I would advise, though, to be careful who you show these amulets to. It seems as if this is a...
I read Dwarvish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well, apparently this is an ancient Dwarvish script, but supposedly you should be able to, with some analysis, I mean, reading it, you might be able to make out the script and pass it to you.
Excellent.
And you can see that along the, finely inscribed along the outskirts of this amulet is...
Oh, it's an amulet, sorry. Not a scroll.
Jesus. You can see
Big amulet.
is the phrase, all of us for our king.
Do you already know, or would you like to know? It says all of us for our king on it. Is that useful to you? I mean, we were just talking of kings a second ago, were we not?
I've definitely heard the phrase before. It's not exactly ringing any bells for me as something to be concerned about, though I do know that the Dwarven Kingdom is, well, Runnelorm at least,
Yeah.
is certainly an interesting community filled with sharing rather than currency.
You would say they're sort of communal?
Suppose so.
What a funny root word that is. Excellent. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's more information.
Wait, what do you mean by communal?
Oh, it's another world thing. It's complex. It's one of those systems. It's everyone hangs out and has a great time together. It's great. Trust me. It's gonna be so much fun once we get there.
It's always better in theory. That's the.
Of course, sure, bitch. It'll be great.
Oh, I'll take as the avid explorer of the group. I'll take your word for it, Jim.
Once we get there, you've just got to sort of nestle in, soak it in a bit, and it'll come up on you, sort of, and you'll. It's a warm feeling.
I'm not really familiar with dwarvish culture. I've only seen a handful of dwarves from where I'm from.
A warm feeling.
So, is that like normal for dwarves to have a warm feeling? To
I
get a
honestly-
warm feeling?
I don't know if it's normal for dwarves. Is it, to my knowledge?
Roll a history check for me, please.
Yes, I will. I'll try to at least scroll. God damn it. That would be a 6.
With a 6, you're not too sure about the intricacies of dwarven culture, given that you've only ever been to one city, which is no longer a kingdom. So you assume that this kind of communal sharing for the king over specific individuals rather than individual purposes is common for most parts of Runalorm, but it's not exactly. I mean, this is obviously breaking the fourth wall. They're not actual communists,
Yeah.
Okay.
but you know,
Okay.
At the moment, you can't make out whether or not you think it's all dwarven culture is like this or not.
I don't know.
Oh, okay, I guess we'll find out together then, won't we?
I can tell you that this stuff over there, how it is currently, it's a good time.
Okay.
Very well. Anything else that I can help you with, or shall I let you get on your way for Runalorm?
Did you manage to get that set of breastplate I asked for, or?
Oh, you're asking for a set of breastplate. Okay, give me a moment, and you can hear a kind of yell, Busby! Down the stairs, and Busby, you can hear the ding, 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 ding as he heads up the stairs, kind of heavy footfalls. And you can hear some kind of muffled talking, like and then heads back down. You can hear the rapid footsteps as he goes down the stairs. Heads back up again, and comes back into the room. You can see that his hair is kind of a bit frizzy, and his face is definitely puffy from having to run up in heavy chainmail, but presents you with what looks like a little bit of a worse for wear breastplate. It seems like it's taken a couple of dings. There's a bit of there's some craters in there from a hard impact. It looks mostly usable. You can see some rusted spots on there. I had this spare. It was really the only one I could find. I haven't cleaned it in a while, so I hope that's okay. It's not sweaty or anything, but like it's got a bit of
It's
like
fine.
rust and stuff on it.
I'll
So
I'll
like,
give it a bit of a clean up.
you're right. And just passes it off to you.
Thank you very much. And I'll take it.
Yeah, no worries. Will that be all? And kind of just like rocks back on his feet.
Busby's a dwarf, isn't he?
Yeah, Busby is a dwarf.
Okay. Hey, Busby. Have you been to Runalorm before?
Oh yeah, I'm actually from there. So
Oh, you're from? Oh, dude, this is perfect.
Excellent.
We were talking before about Runalorm being very communal.
yeah, like we
so
don't really use currency much there.
So how do you buy things?
Oh, well, you trade for them.
For what?
Like if you've got a service that you can offer someone, like you trade for it. So like if you wanted to fix up your armor, you'd have to find a smith that would be willing to do it. And some of them accept money for like out of towners and all that. But for the most part, they probably ask you, all right, well I need, like this handle carved again, and then you'd go off and find somebody to do that, and then you'd do like little odd jobs and stuff like that.
So like a favor for a favor.
Yeah, basically. But you really the only money that you get you give to the king. So
As like a tax.
yeah, kind of, but it's more like a rent for space, if that makes sense. Like Runalorm's a pretty big place, and like we are always expanding up, and it's like a multi-tiered city. Have you ever been?
I've not been there, but I'm familiar with multi-tiered cities. Yeah. Okay.
Right, well, like, it's in the side of the mountain, and because we're always, like, expanding outwards, yeah, it's, like, inside the mountain and all that.
I've only read about it in books. Oh, we actually get to go on a mountain, guys. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's a really nice place, actually. I'm almost finished my stint here, so I'll be heading back up there sometime soon, like, a couple of months or so. But it's a really nice place, and honestly, like, I'd say definitely when you're there, make sure that you have your money just in case, because like I said, it's not everyone, but a large portion of the upper tiers
definitely use their money a lot, but bottom tier, you know, like the workers and all that, they definitely are more into the trade aspect of things.
Is there anything we should be worried about, or keep a lookout for while we're over there? Anything?
Don't fall into lava. That's happened a
Wait.
couple times.
To
Wait.
you.
No, not to me. I'm obviously I'm still here, aren't I? So.
Wait. Is that a common occurrence?
But people fall into lava mostly if they're intoxicated. But I think they've put up new barriers now. The other ones kind of got a bit like smashed and melted down.
Have you been around someone that's fallen into the lava?
Nobody that I've personally known, but a friend of a friend's had a sister that fell in.
Oh, great.
Oh, okay. Cool. Like flowing lava.
Well, it's not exactly like flowing lava. There's also like melted ore and all that. Like, it's kind of, well, it's kind of like something that flows underneath the city.
Like
So
the city is built on a bed of lava, like a lava river.
kind of. It's like something that it's something that powers most of the city itself. So, it's a little bit hard to explain unless you've been there. But Runalorm is like, it's like a huge cylindrical cavern, and there's like multiple tiers and all that, and there's like above the core of the city, like buckets of melted ore, kind of like swing, and like magma and all that are like suspended. So they go to different locations. Sometimes you have some that are like underneath the walkways. Depends on which tier you're in. So that's what I mean by that. Don't fall in, because it's sometimes under the city. But like if you're in the upper tiers, which you guys look like fancy folks, so you might be up there. They have like cable cars and stuff, so you don't like, you're not I don't know. I mean, you're not in like a spot of will I fall into this lava pit? Will I not? You'd probably be okay in a cable car.
Okay. Cable car over lava. Cable car over lava. That's fine. Okay.
Well, only sometimes. Like some of them don't connect that way. They have like different rail systems and all that like will take you different places. So depends on where you're going and like what they're making. Sometimes if they have a big project, like it's harder not to fall in, but they have like these little barriers that they erect in the space so you don't like run in or anything. You usually know if there's lava around you, but I would say it's usually quite a warm area, so probably don't wear any winter clothes.
I look at the scarf. I just bought this.
I mean, if you don't mind sweating, then like you'd be alright.
Okay. I'm both equally excited and
You can
somehow
also take
terrified.
these potions that they give you for like out of towners who aren't used to it, so
like a
it just makes you feel normal, so you don't really notice the temperature and all that.
we're probably gonna have to buy some of those. I run very hot.
You'll
Okay.
be right.
I reckon I probably will need some, because I'm just wearing like this full leather
Yeah.
plate set.
Yeah, my armor's gonna make me sweat like bullets.
Well,
All the
luckily for me,
training.
the temperature doesn't tend to affect me too much.
Oh yeah. Oh, you probably should really watch out for like the lava and all that.
Yeah, my timber does tend to catch on fire when it has the chance.
Yeah. Well, I think you should be okay. Usually, like, there's arcane barriers too to stop people, but like, if they're changing over the barriers, then that's probably maybe not so good idea to like stray too close to them.
Okay. We got this. Alright. Thanks, Busby.
Yeah, alright.
Thank you.
Pleasure. And then turns and like heads out and bows to Zola, who kind of inclines her head. Very well. Anything else that I might help you with?
You would by chance happen to have a map on you?
A map.
We kind of only have a rough idea of where we're going. It's like northward. We'll pick up a map if we need to, but just in case you had one, might be helpful.
I can have a look and see what I've got. And it begins to kind of rifle around in the desk space, and actually, let's see. I must have left it. I must have left it in my backpack. I'll just be a second and kind of heads down the stairs herself this time. Comes back up after a minute or two with a large leather rucksack. You can see that it's well worn, but it's also stamped with a crest that you can see her wear on the small silver pin. The encircled hands that kind of hold each other by the wrist around a sword point down, and pulls out a piece of parchment that I actually have here to hand to you.
Yes.
No way.
Mr.
Oh, that's
Guys, we got a
awesome. That's so cool.
Oh, I pulled the thread. Oh. Oh,
Yo.
dude, yo, look
Cool.
at that,
That's wicked.
dude.
Oh, fuck, that's
Look
good.
how detailed that shit is.
How'd you get the compass on there? Is that
Yeah.
hand drawn?
Get a look at that talent.
Is-
No, pass it to Holly if you want it to be seen on camera.
Show it off to the people. The people need to see that.
We can put it on the if you want, we can put it as like a battle
This
map. Do you want to do that?
Nah,
Or
it won't show
Anyway,
up very well.
is it showing up now?
It's showing up.
Yeah, there we go. I will post some pictures on my Instagram there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Look at that.
socials.
But yeah,
Yes.
hand-drawn
Cool.
map for you guys there.
Awesome.
Wicked cool.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh my god. Wait, so where the fuck are we?
So you guys are down towards the bottom of the Sultaran borderlands.
Can't. Fun fact: I don't know how to read maps. Oh, there's Rummelong. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, we got a way to walk, guys.
Yeah, this is why when I did the this is what I was saying earlier, why I needed to retcon because it's a far ways away. It's probably
Okay.
closer to 10 to 14 days, so 2 weeks ish to get there.
Yeah. So we're down there. We need to go up there.
How many towns do we have to get through and stuff? Is it just a
We're
straight
gonna
walk?
we'll pass through.
This is only the major cities in.
Okay,
the-
so maybe
so
with
there's-
minor abilities and stuff.
Yeah,
The
I just
main-
didn't get time to do a region map just yet, but
That's fine.
I'll get onto it as
Main
soon as
road
I can.
connects to a town going Helior. Am I reading that right?
Helio, yeah.
Helior. It goes to Helior and then past Helior. It looks like the word doubt. Like
Count?
doubt. I
Yeah.
almost said donut. It goes to doubt, but then the road just sort of stops there, and then it looks like a lot of hilly terrain. And then we're gonna either have to go around the mountains to get to Rummelorn in the Blastbound break. Did I say that right? Blastbound break. So we can go around there to get there, or we can pass through the mountains to maybe take a shortcut. But that would be like, decisions, guys. Decisions. We'll have to look over the map and decide. Oh, that's so fucking sick. Crew guys just like. Is this how big the world is? Because, like,
Not to scale. This is the only map I had. I don't typically travel to anywhere other than the major cities, so that's all I've got at the moment.
Okay.
Is this map up to date? Recent?
Yes, it was just done by a cartographer called Roderick. Believe he's actually from this area.
So we've heard.
Oh yeah. We were told to go see him in Helior to go pick up a map.
So this
Ah.
makes transport a lot easier for me when I'm working with
When you're giving this to us?
well, I don't need it. I can always
She can
well, I
clarify
don't
it.
Oh, well, yeah, that too, I suppose.
I don't mean to offend anybody, but I do have quite a bit of money. So purchasing a map is not too much of an issue to me. I can just go and get another one from Roderick, or any of the major cities that I'm in.
Well, as soon as she says don't get offended, like, do you have a lot of money? Crew guy just like looks at her with a really seething look, like, yeah, okay, cool. You have a lot of money. Good for
It's not my fault. From where I'm from, lots of people have a lot of money, way more than I do.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what that's like, being a lowly adventurer.
You don't need to rub it in.
I don't.
I don't think she is rubbing it in. I think you guys are taking it kind of personally, to be honest.
I just put the map above my head so she stops looking at my facial expressions.
Very well. Anything else I can help you with now that you've robbed me of my map?
We'll give it back to you at some point.
Oh no, no need to worry. Like I
right,
said,
you have a
it's-
lot of money. You can buy it.
Oh yes, I'm so much money that maps and materials.
I just mutter under my breath. Nothing. There's a lot of money. No, I think we're good, Your Excellency. And I do a bow very reluctantly. Like,
It's not your excellency. I'm sure quite a lot of people in the Legion and beyond would disagree with you on that one.
well, my parents always told me to show respect to the Legion, so I'm showing my respect.
Alrighty, I think it's about time that we hit the road.
Agreed.
The
Thank you for
sun
your time.
is not going to be in the sky for forever.
Honestly, we slept in pretty late. I don't think we've got that much sunlight left. Gotta go.
True, it'd be like
Thank you for your help. Thank you for the map.
If you need to contact me, or if you are ever in, please do come and see me in the crystalline.
Of course, thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
If it's going to be as we leave, I'm gonna if it's going to be 2 weeks, we may want to consider a form of transportation. Walking for 2 weeks, it could be good to speed up the pace.
Would I know where this crystalline keep is?
Roll a history check for me, please.
Certainly. Once I find which tab my... Cool. Thank you. Well, I think that's a 9.
With a 9. With a 9, you know that the Crystalline Keep is kind of a base for the Grimoisian Legion, and they usually operate out of Rebellion. So you can assume that it'd be around Rumbellium at least. But you're not too sure. Yeah. Crystalline.
Thank you.
No worries.
Keep.
How much is it?
You're
We could
looking
afford a
for
cart.
A cart? 15.
Yeah, we could 100% afford a car. I could afford a carriage and get some. And some draft horses to go with it, or a draft horse to go with it.
I mean, how many horses do we need to pull a cart? Between the
One or
7 of
two.
us?
How many? Pull.
I would say probably that you'd need one minimum. Depends on the type of cart, but 2 would make you go. I think it'd be quicker. Depends on how much weight you're.
Yeah, 7 people in a cart.
Yeah.
Is it are we thinking a car or are we thinking like a wagon?
Depends. One or 2 people could probably be at the front, like or at the reins, and then the rest can be in the back. So
I could get a carriage technically and 2 draft horses. If we
that's
want
what you
that.
like to do. Yeah.
are those resources here in this small farming town?
I feel like an important question is, are we traveling on roads?
Yes.
Yes?
Well,
I have no idea where I'm going. I reckon roads are our best bet.
I'm guessing these dotted lines are the roads, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no... The roads should... Look at the map. The roads just sort of stop after a while.
Are there roads to the destination we are traveling to?
Yes, there are.
Excellent.
What?
We should be traveling on roads then.
Okay.
But yeah, are we? What? I assume we gotta worry. Do we have to worry about feed and stuff like that as well for the horses?
I would say so. Yeah.
Because I mentioned there's grass and stuff along the way, and what is?
Yeah. There would be. It's up to you what you'd like to do.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
I don't know what a barding is.
Huh?
What is a barding?
Barding.
A barding. I'm not sure.
If we're holding up like tack harness and drawn vehicles here, I'm like reading through the prices.
It's probably something important.
Stabling is 5 silver pieces per day.
Well, that's if we're renting them. Are we renting?
Well, we can rent. That's the thing. That's what I'm thinking as well. If we rent,
How do we return them then?
Well, look, I imagine they've got carriages and stuff that go that way anyway. We could just join one of those groups.
Oh, like go with a traveler, go with like a caravan that's trading.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be smart. There's protection in that as well.
We
Yeah.
could also be the protection.
Exactly.
We'll be like, we'll go
Get
with you
paid
if you
for
give
it.
us a ride.
Sure. I mean, if you want to scout around the city to see if there's any caravans leaving, you can do that.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, we've
so-
got time.
Yep. Roll an investigation check for me, please.
Hang on.
I'll give you advantage. I'll be helping you.
So, second investigation. Is it a good one? No. Got advantage at least. Plus nothing though. First roll. No. Well, one was a 1 and the next one was a 20, so...
Okay. So
I'm gonna say 20 natural 20, 20.
So you natural 20 or
Yeah.
okay, cool. So as you begin to, so you exit this prison, and you can see that there are definitely clusters of people that are kind of seemingly preparing in a clearing. It looks like there's lots of armor and weaponry that they're shoving into the back of this cart, and you approach them, and you're essentially, you gather from that conversation that this is a group that's heading to the Soltaran borderlands as part of the World Lock Battalion. But they do point you in a direction on the other side of town. And as you begin to approach, you can see that there's an array of colourful fabric that's kind of being pinned to the side of a well-worn cart and caravan that's seemingly almost ready to go. You can see that there are fine kind of speckled horses that are kind of tied to this that are kind of tied to this caravan as well. You can see that a kind of skinny, almost not necessarily a lithe figure, but looks scrawny, young, kind of looking half elf with black hair that kind of sticks up in every different direction. Looks a little bit like a bedhead just rolled out of bed, but wearing kind of a mismatch of red and white fabric that's kind of been patched over, and leather patches over the knees. Kind of looks a little bit worse for wear. Kind of pokes his head out of the caravan. Can I help you?
How we I heard from the soldiers that way that were heading towards somewhere that you were heading towards Ramalorn or somewhere that way.
I'm not going to run along, but I am going to down. If you would like to, are you?
Yeah, we can if you wouldn't mind us tagging along with you.
Well, I don't have much space, and you
Right.
can see that there's kind of crates and bottles that are stacked up on shelves in the back of this caravan. If you have a wagon of sorts, I could probably show you all the way down the road. Are you want to use my
Oh,
caravan?
we are willing to provide protection and pay for our way if you're willing to have us. We just need to. We wanted a faster way up there.
The roads can be quite dangerous, you know, and we're a very
I
well-versed.
travel them a lot. Okay, well I'll just and kind of heads back into the caravan. You can see that he opens a flap at the side and kind of heads down some well-worn, rickety-looking stairs, and then rounds the cart. Kind of looks all of you up and down. So how many is this? Your whole group? Just the 7 of you?
Yeah, just the 7 of us.
Just the
Yes.
Kind of thinks, well, I might have to move some things around, but I can check with one of my other group to see if they might be able to accommodate you. And kind of looks very nervous of the massive sword that you've got strung across your back, and the the mask that's kind of facing
Well, like a little
towards
buckler
him.
and a knife in like my sleeve. I'm like, yep.
And Nidra, who's just kind of crossed arms. They're looking pissed off.
It's like, would-
Smile. We want it. We want to get. We want.
do you want us to pay you for the
They're
trip?
not here
Or
to refute this.
I'm gonna say that Nidra would adamantly refuse.
Uh,
Say straight up,
of course.
no.
Okay.
Fine. Would you like a payment for the trip, or would you like us in exchange for protection? We will.
So how far am I taking you? Just to Daunt or?
Just a doubt. Yeah.
Just a doubt? Yeah.
That's that. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, away from
Well, give me a second, and you can he kind of nervously backs away. Miriam, and kind of calls over his shoulder. Seemingly getting more panicked by the second. Kind of heads over, and you can see appears to be a human-looking figure. Dressed in similarly mismatched clothes. These ones are kind of a dark cobalt blue. Begins to kind of rifle through her own caravan, and you can hear muffled curses as they seemingly drag across the crates to kind of shove them up against. And she kind of heads back over to you all. Alright, so you're joining us on this trip, I take it?
Hi, name's Krugok. The 7 of us. We're a group of noble adventurers on a very important quest, and since you're going in the direction that we're kind of going, we thought we could tag along with you, offer some protection for your goods, and that way we can get to our group in a much safer manner. You know, strength in numbers and safety and all that.
Who's the kid?
This
boss?
this is
Something-
Kruger. He is very spirited.
Wait a minute. I am an adult. Thank
He
you
loves
very
thinking
much.
he's in charge.
He
I'm
is-
not in charge. I am just.
I've just accepted the fact that I'm small and I don't
They're
interrupt
both
the
very
negotiation.
spirited
It's,
individuals. Do not worry. They're both very adept in combat. However,
And your mask stays on the whole time?
it
You
is a
just-
religious garment.
Right, my apologies. And kind of looks you all over. Alright, so for the 7 of you, it might be a tight squeeze. We might have to have one person walking behind, but since you got 2 smaller folks with you, might be able to fit you in.
We can ride the horses.
I'd say you probably get 3
I
here.
don't know how to ride horses.
Sit on its back.
And the rest of you could probably fit in the back of mine. Maybe not as spacious, but
Thank
should
you
do.
for your. Do you want compensation as well?
Well, what do you got?
Money.
Just gold, or
Yeah,
what?
I can give you like 5 gold pieces.
You just walk around handing out gold to people? You
Well,
just
surely our protection should you encounter such dangerous foes and monsters out in the wilderness.
If we encounter danger, the transport will be free. However, if we don't, we'll pay you.
roll a persuasion check for me, please.
Can I give him advantage?
Sure.
I'm glad I have advantage. 15.
You drive a hard bargain. Alright, since I've been traveling this almost every week for, let's say, 4 years or so now, I've never encountered any issues, but
You never know.
let's say if I get you to Daunt with no ruckus along the way, that'll be 50 gold pieces, just for the lot of you.
That sounds quite
If
fair.
we encounter any trouble on the house.
I think that's more than fair. Thank you very much, sir.
Woman, but
Ma'am? Whoops. Kruger not say that. Connor, stupid.
certainly. Alright, well, we're wasting daylight. I hope you don't mind. It'll take us about a day to get to Helior. And then from then on, we'll stock up. We gotta get rid of some of this stock there. Take what we need to take with us to Daunt, and then be on our way.
We will help in any way that we can.
Would appreciate that. So you're okay to travel at night then,
Yeah,
or
that's fine. I quite like the moon, so.
sure thing?
There's just like this medallion around my neck with like the symbol of Luron that's like different. Like it's clearly Luron's symbol. It's just like slightly more animated.
Doesn't seem to notice
Yeah.
the moon. Just is kind of avoiding looking at the bird beak, and you can see that the young half elf that was kind of first nervously looking at you all is kind of poking his head out and appears to drop the back hatch of the caravan to let you guys climb in. It's definitely a tight squeeze, but you can see that there are lots of little bottles that kind of clink together.
Is there any room at like the front where like they like sit? Can I sit up there with them?
Yeah, so there's one that'll be sitting on the
Yeah,
the
I want
one
to sit up there
caravan
just because
and
I
one
want to
another.
kind.
Sure.
I imagine Abelard wants to kind of see the world around him and stuff.
Sure. Do you have a preference to?
I'll
whoever
go
you're
the one
traveling?
going towards the front.
Sure. So that would probably be Miriam's
Yeah.
caravan. There's much less in that caravan. It is still covered, but there's not as many crates and things that are piled high. It appears mostly as if there's fabrics within Miriam's caravan, but you can settle at the top. Anybody have any preference to where they travel? You can fit 4 in Miriam's and then 3 in
I'm happy
the
to
half elves.
go wherever.
I want to try and get on the back of the horse and ride the horse while it's pulling the cart.
There's no saddle on the horse, right?
No, there's no saddle on
I
the back.
don't. Kruger does not know the difference.
Immediately as you begin to climb up to one of the horses,
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
I would say probably don't do that. Thank you.
They seem friendly.
Don't you just listen to
But
them?
this is my horse. I've paid a lot of money
I'm not
for
gonna hurt. I'm not gonna hurt it.
You
Kruger,
have a very big sword strapped to your back,
Oh, that's a good point.
and you're also a child.
I am not a child. I'll storm off into the back of the caravan. I'm
Technically,
22 and a half.
I thought you were 17.
They don't need to know that.
Oh, sorry. 22 and a half. He is not 17.
or
He
some like
just the way that he speaks just seems very young. I meant
He's
no
very-
offense.
he's-
I myself am only 20, so
It's a size thing.
He's very naive still. He's
It's a
getting.
family thing. We're all very youthful.
Okay, well, we're wasting
Let's
time,
get going,
so-
everybody.
Yeah, let's get going.
Okay, as you all take your respective positions in the carts, Abelard, you at the front. You can see that the area that you travel in the opposite direction from Omerum to Helior is similarly covered in fields of tillage. This area seems to be kind of terraced almost against the rolling hills that kind of cover the landscape along this side. The sky itself appears to be well into the process of setting, almost completely gone, and the moon is kind of rising on the opposite side. And you can see that the pinks and purples that were present in the sky for your beginning your chat with Zola have now since disappeared and are kind of creeping behind the raised bend peaks. The area around you now is kind of bathed in this almost sickly silver hue, kind of taking all of the colour out of the tillage around you. You think that you can see as you pass mostly fruit trees that are kind of swaying and lined up in orchids. Orchids, not the flower. Orchards. My brain's dying. Yes. And you can see that there are bushes that are kind of still being plucked as the moon rises, kind of put into baskets by humanoid figures that are a bit hard to make out in the distance, but you can see that there are some dotted along the way. There are some lampposts that are kind of swinging in the near distance, casting a sort of soft, warm firelight type of glow. Lightning bugs kind of coast across the area. It's relatively long way to travel. Is there anything you guys would like to do?
I imagine most I'm looking, I'll be like looking at like all the different like flora and fauna, like because I've never seen half the stuff. Like I imagine there'll be something similar like lightning bugs, like fireflies inside the dream plane.
Yes.
They wouldn't be like that though.
No. So the dream plane doesn't have much vegetation at all, and anything that you have seen has mostly been constructed. So it's not it's nothing like the natural landscape that you find yourself in now.
Yeah, like all the plants we have, are like small gardens and stuff like that where we grow food
Yes.
and such.
Actually, roll a perception check. Are you all kind of, the rest of you are just, are you looking
Chilling.
around, or you're just...
Looking for trouble. making
Could
sure
I
nothing's
just
stopping
like
us.
kind of take a broad outlook as to what is in the caravan?
Sure, roll an investigation check for me. And you said you're looking for trouble, or...
Just keeping an eye out. To see if anything was-
16.
16. Roll a perception.
That'll be a 15 for me.
Sure. With a... what did you-
Dirty 20.
Dirty 24. With a 16, Abelard being at the front, I'd say since you're within the covered caravan, you're
Looking
most
behind
likely
us,
looking
yeah.
behind you. With your 20, you don't see any trouble per se, though you do see that there are some travelers in the distance who are kind of heading towards you, and you can see kind of soft lamp-like glow that appears to be moving closer and closer towards you. Doesn't seem like they're traveling with too much speed, just appears to be trailing you just slowly from behind.
Does it look like another traveling caravan that travels like trade and goods and stuff like that, similar to this one?
Yes, so it doesn't look to be a covered caravan. This one looks mostly as if there's just crates stacked high, but they're too far away for you to really make out what it is. As for you, Abelard, as you're looking around you, you can see that some of the hills that have been kind of terraced for crops to grow on them. Some of them have been left untouched, and with a 16 you can see that as you pass there appears to be a small doorway wedged into the side of one of these hills.
Yeah, I'll just ask Miriam
Yep.
about those.
Well, I'd assume that's somebody's home. Could be. Also could just be a what's the best way to put this? Sometimes people hide things in plain sight that shouldn't be hidden there. Kind of like a trap catching flies with honey, I suppose.
Okay. Right, and I imagine just like it would be like light small talk about like religion and whatever.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, yeah, you just be like,
So it would take you the full day to travel there, so I'm assuming you guys would be heading to bed at some point?
imagine
Oh,
we'll take
do-
like
I
chips and
looked-
stuff.
I looked
Oh,
through
you looked
things,
inside,
yeah.
sorry, my mistake. Which caravan are you in, first of all? Are you in Miriam's?
I would
or-
assume which one had more space in it?
Miriam's had more
Oh,
space.
that one.
Sure. So you rolled a 15?
Yes.
Well, like I said earlier, it's mostly fabrics within Miriam's. You do catch the clinking of bottles, and you can see that there's alcohol that's neatly lined up in like a rack that's kind of pinned to the side of the caravan, kind of rattles around. Looks as if most of these bottles are kind of half empty. But with a 15, you do see that there is a handful of small gems that are kind of scattered across a very thin and narrow bench that appears to have things like hammers and nails kind of littered across it as well. Seems like a working bench of some sort. But you can see that there are, like I said, a small handful of rubies, sapphires. It looks like there's some gems like topaz.
How easy would it be to steal some gemstones?
She's not looking at you. She's looking at the road ahead. and
Like, at
talking
all?
to Abelard.
So tempting.
What's your alignment?
I think it's
Oh, where's my file
neutral
checking?
good. You're right.
Yeah.
Just double checking alignments again.
But like neutral good for me.
With alignment.
No, it's not. No, I won't. I just
What's the
will
actual like?
think-
What's like the
I'll think
caravan
about
split
it.
here?
I'll think about it and then I'll just be like,
Who's in which caravans?
So I assume you two are with Miriam.
Mm.
The rest of you make your decision. I'll say that Nadria and Malin are most likely in the. You guys don't know the half elf's name, but
The half elf's caravan.
yeah.
I'll probably be with Nadria and May then.
And then that would leave June and A9 as well in Miriam's caravan.
Yep.
Alright, so are you deciding to steal the
No,
dims?
I decided not to.
Okay.
Is there anything in the caravan that looks broken or damaged that
Roll an investigation check for me, please.
Can I help?
I've
Sure.
already rolled?
Then no.
Should I?
13.
Duh.
With the 13, you can see that most of the items in the caravan that appear to be tools or appear to be clothing or furniture of sorts is mostly in a worse for wear condition. So they're not exactly falling apart, but they're on their last legs, kind of fraying. Clothing at the edges that needs to be stitched and things like that, but you know the racks are kind of hastily constructed. You can see that there are struts of wood that are kind of pushed underneath a rack to hold it together, and lots of little bits like that that are like odd jobs that nothing's in dire need of repair, but it seems as if they've just been done repairs, so just in a hastily way.
Would I be able to pass the time by trying to put some of these things back together a bit better? Maybe fix them up a bit?
Sure. Roll a dex check for me
Oh, lovely.
with proficiency.
Does that mean...
Just add a +2, I think.
I-
Is it +2 for proficiency?
Yes. Also, before we, do you have the mending cantrip?
Mending? I don't think... let me check, actually. I might. I do!
If you've got that, you can just use that to fix it all. And
Yeah?
you don't have to make any rolls then.
Could I do that
If
then?
A9
Yeah,
remembers,
sure,
I
if
just
you'd like
wanted to
to.
check with you.
Just check 'em.
It says it repairs a single break or tear in an object.
But you
Yeah,
can
Yeah,
but
but
just
it's a
cantrip,
cantrip.
so you can just repeatedly cast it.
Well, I would say because it's not... There's nothing that's ripped other than clothing, really, or like fabric swaths. You can... Like, bolts of fabric do have some tears in them, so you could use mending on things like that. But the shelves that are kind of not necessarily falling apart, but are kind of haphazardly put together, you probably wouldn't be able to fix with.
Sure.
Okay.
mending.
So I suppose I'll cast mending on the clothing where I can, and also with the shelving. I've got proficiency with carpenter's tools, and I have carpenter's tools.
Yeah, I just it's just a check to see that you're not. It's not a nat 1, basically.
Sure. I'll roll that dex. Mm.
Don't forget that +2.
18.
18, yeah, easy enough to fix up whatever you'd like to fix up. You can rearrange the
Wait,
shelves so that they're in a
With
better.
proficiency though.
With +2.
Oh, +2. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
But yeah, it's relatively easy to fix almost everything in this cart. There's kind of large gouges that are made into the side of this caravan. You assume they pulled something off, possibly a bench of some sorts. But other than that, you can fix all of the shelving. You can fix whatever you'd like to fix.
Are the large gouges a bit too big to mend with mending?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's how I pass my time.
Cool.
For the day.
So it's about a 24-hour window until you get there. So I'm going to say that you guys probably have a long rest. Would you retire into the back of the...
I imagine we'll do like shifts and stuff like that and swap occasionally.
Sure.
So I imagine there'll be like short breaks and stuff on the way.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah,
So
we all get
as-
long rest.
Yes, as you guys take your shifts, Abelard, when you drift off into your slumber, your long rest, you immediately get the sense that something isn't right. And you blink your eyes open and you feel disorientated for a moment, staring up through a break in an otherwise dense canopy of trees into a vast, endless sea of ink, thousands of stars littering the sky as they twinkle gently. Beneath you, you feel a bed of plush, thick grass that draws you in, soft and comforting. It tickles the back of your neck and the palms of your hand, exposed and without the armor that has surrounded you like a shield for so long. With a start, you realize that you are not waking where you fell asleep. As a gentle breeze rustles the trees around you, sending a torrent of leaves floating gently to the floor below, you hear a voice whisper to you on the breeze. Don't be afraid.
Do I recognize the voice?
You do. You recognize that this is the voice of Luron. You heard many times before in the dream plane.
My lord.
No other response. You wait for a second and it seems as if the breeze has just kind of coasted along past you. Dropping your gaze to the area around you, you can see a vast expanse of dense forest, swaying gently as the wind whips through it. Around you, shades of purple decorate the landscape, from vibrant royal violets to washed-out lilacs, and dark, mysterious indigos that line a mismatched quilt on the forest floor. In the distance, you can see swaths of burgundies, plum, and magentas carving through the landscape beyond the base of this cliff, stark against the rich, warm wood of their trunks and their gnarled branches that spiral upwards, with enormous roots that sprawl outwards. Shocks of cherry and crimson reds are bathed in the dazzling light that washes down from a starry sky, whilst a cauldron of bats and larger indiscernible beasts circle overhead. Above, two of Cathora's moons hang heavy and full, continuing their endless journey across the sky through a blanket of stars. In the small clearing around this area, cicadas chirp and chat to one another as an owl swoops from high in a nearby tree to find purchase in another, rustling its leaves. Amongst the warm mahogany and golden oaks of these tree trunks, moss crawls its way up the wood. After a moment of study, the trees appear to part, revealing a well-worn path between towering tree trunks, the branches passing overhead to create a shaded corridor. Beams of warm light descend from cracks in this thick canopy of branches and leaves, beckoning you further down its path. As you approach, your boots crunching through this bed of leaves, an owl hoots gently, before that same voice as before passes next to you on the wind. Follow the path, if you please. There's much to discuss.
Of course, my lord, and I'll start following the path.
Sure. From within the corridor, purple and red leaves flutter to the floor, carried gently on the breeze to their resting place. Some pass right by your face, while the others slip off your shoulders. Scattered around the bases of these trees, small toadstools and flowers wave, shifting towards you as you pass. Interspersed throughout this dense forest, small patches of glowing light reach out to you. Clinging to the bark of trees, shelves of mushrooms radiate golden light into the otherwise dim expanse of trees and bushes, whilst clusters of toadstools blaze in vivid blues and greens. Peering out at the world open to you now, your eyes catch on a small caterpillar edging its way across a long, skinny branch. Crawling along the underside and weaving around sprouting leaves of opulent plum, this small caterpillar begins to glow faintly in an electric pink before the rest of its body phases into translucent, while its core alights. Reaching the end of this corridor of greenery, a wide circle of verdant grass lies ahead. Small flowers stretch upwards towards the moon in clusters of silver, blue, and red. On the outskirts, skinny trunks and branches of burgeoning trees stand in between enormous, gnarled tree trunks, acting as a border to this peaceful respite in this ethereal forest. Within the large open glade, fireflies hover in the air, passing in large arcs as they dance before you. Bright white spots in an otherwise empty space. From behind you, that same gentle summer breeze picks up, wafting past your ears and curling over your cheeks and hands. It grows louder, stronger, more insistent, as it whips across your face and cuts against your neck. Before all of a sudden, it stops, replaced by complete silence and stillness. What would you
Cool.
like to do?
I'm gonna head towards the flowers.
Sure.
I know.
As you head towards the flowers, they appear to sway towards you and almost follow you, reaching up.
I'll just exclaim that they are beautiful. Mm. Just probably the wind. And I'm like,
As you say that, you hear a soft chuckle from behind you. Doesn't seem like it's from the wind anymore. It seems corporeal.
I'll turn around.
Turning, you see a figure sitting in the grass behind you, radiating a soft white glow. The wild flowers scattered around the area seem to stand at attention, some of them bowing towards the figure and swinging heavy heads towards them as their petals unfurl,
I'll drop
much in a
to
similar
one
way.
knee.
Face turned towards the sky, they don't immediately notice that you don't think they notice that you've dropped to a knee in front of them. You can see what appears to be a humanoid figure composed entirely of swirling cosmos. Though there appears to be all of the limbs and facial features of a regular human, save for pointed ears that peek out from shoulder-length hair, their skin itself is radiant and ever-changing. You can see ribbons of red stardust curling around their exposed forearms before disappearing behind the sleeves of a crisp white linen shirt. Shooting stars drift across their cheekbones, whilst meteors zing downwards from their jawline all the way to their fingertips. Millions of stars blaze brightly and fade in and out as they dance across their skin, filled with an unfathomable depth of inky blue and indigo, covered by an iridescent sheen that shifts with the passage of the moon. Their face drops down, turning towards you now with a brilliant smile. Abelard Dupont, I've wanted to meet you for quite some time.
My Lord Ron,
Please, stand.
stand up.
The figure slowly stands themselves, kind of stretching and beginning to dust themselves off. Small particles of white sand are shaken loose, falling from their shoulders as they brush them off. That same iridescent sheen creating waves and rainbows in the air as it begins to drift down, which you'd seen many a time before in the dream plane itself. I apologize for my appearance. I know it can be startling for some. Allow me to change into something more comfortable for you. And with a wave of their hand, almost dismissive as it passes in a large arc in front of their face, the iridescent sheen begins to weave around them. Spiraling upwards, you watch as the space around this figure begins to wobble, obscured by refractions of light from the moon and the swirling sand that surrounds them. The endless expanse of stars and nighttime housed on their skin begins to ebb away slowly, receding up the sleeves of this expensive, well-made linen shirt, until a human man about your height stands before you with golden blonde hair that reaches to about shoulder length and a smile filled with perfectly straight white teeth. Had you not seen this figure shift before your eyes, you would assume they were a normal man, save for the endless cosmos that swirls now in their eyes. Before you, in all his glory, stands your god, Luron.
My lord, is there something you wish me to do?
Not exactly wish you to do. See, I've been watching you and your adventures since you were so rudely ripped away from us. I've been trying to find a way to bring you back, so to speak, and I've been very impressed with what I've seen. You do us proud.
Thank you, sir. I try my best to embody the values of our society.
As I can see. This isn't a regular occurrence for me. I don't often... Well, I mean, you've never had a dream before, have you?
No, sir.
Yes, it's kind of a failing on my part that, well, you can't exactly have dreams, I suppose. I'm not too sure why that is. I think, perhaps when I was creating, I suppose, you and your brothers, sisters, people like you, I decided that to work in a dream plane, it's best for one not to be plagued by dreams. So I brought you to a pocket dimension. Do you like it?
It is wonderful. We do not have these kind of plants in Lorothia. It's lovely to see. It's been quite wonderful on Kasora. I've never seen half the stuff here. It has been fascinating. I've only ever read about it.
Well, this is actually based on the Umbral Expanse. It's a rather interesting place. If you ever get a chance, it's somewhere in a land called Moran. Well, I think that it'd be an interesting place for you to venture to if you ever have a chance. But it seems that you've landed yourself in Viladium, I suppose.
I believe that is what they called it.
And do you have any idea of what it is that brought you there?
No, I remember just a flash of light and then waking up amongst, I believe it was called wheat.
Plant?
Yes.
Wheat?
It's like golden grass. It's very...
Well, you see, there was an ulterior motive, I suppose, for me to bring you here. Like I said, I've been watching you for some time, since you were ripped away from us, and I've been attempting to work out exactly what might have happened. You see, I think that a very powerful arcane user, perhaps a shade wielder, might have been involved in such a, such an intricate ceremony that perhaps tore you away from Lerothia.
Is the rest of the crusade okay?
Funnily enough, you were the only one who was taken to another place, the material plane. I'm not too sure exactly what happened myself, but I wanted to assure you that I'm working on it as much as I can. But I also wanted to tell you to be careful. Whoever had this immense amount of power is clearly not one to be trifled with, and it's concerning for me and some of the other first beings that it seems as if whoever it is has blocked this kind of magic from our tracing.
That is very concerning. If you cannot sense it, I will have to strive hard to discover who did it on this plane. I assume it was along this plane that abducted me, or?
I believe so. The most that I can gather is that there was, like I said, an immense arcane output. Then you were ripped away from the plane which we live, which we work, which we strive to make better, and brought into the material plane. For that I have no other explanation other than what I have already told you, that I assume it is someone with great access to certain dark magic.
We've encountered, during our period here, we've encountered some planar travel devices, something called a Zushtar. We have, this might be linked, it was linked to a different plane, of course, to where Ludothia is, but it should be, I imagine that whoever did this might know, at least maybe further up the chain, who could have done this.
Perhaps so. I assume that, well, to take you from the wastes to the material plane would take an immense amount of skill, particularly to hide themselves from us, and that, I think, is what worries us most. This Zushtar tube, have you had any luck with working out where it was from, or who made it, or anything of the sort?
We are currently tracing along the tracks now to discover exactly where it came from, but we managed to figure out which plane it was linked to. I forgot my notebook. Which plane was it linked to? I had it written down.
So it was abyssal in nature.
Okay, so if we believe it was abyssal in nature, it is...
Well, that is possibly more concerning than I had expected first. Well, I suppose that... Do you have a plan for what you and your friends, I assume, are going to be doing?
I imagine we will keep tracking along the paths we have so far found and continue following this trail that has been left for us. Hopefully we should discover at least who did this and find out how they did this.
Very well. Well, if there's anything that I can do for you, you know how to contact me. I wanted to tell you, though, that we are working with you, and that I am with you, and that I am very pleased with the progress that you've made. It seems as if you've found yourself in good company.
Yes, they are a bit strange at time, muttering about chains and other such things. But
Chains?
yes, one of them, I believe, from what I managed to say, received a vision from the divine, and
Do you
something about
know
chains.
which entity?
No, it's just something about chains.
I would advise you to do some digging on what entity might be involved in a vision of chains.
Of course.
I only know of a handful that have been shackled, and usually they're in pocket dimensions themselves, and they're nothing good. You might know their names, the Nameless Few.
Yes, I do. I know roughly about them. Never quite touched my research, I'm afraid. I'm much more focused on medicine. But I will investigate as needed,
Oh,
of course.
watch your back. It seems as if perhaps there's some untoward influence within your group. I don't want to make assumptions, but at this stage, until you can verify whether or not you trust everyone, perhaps it's best to think about it a bit more.
Of course, my lord.
Very well, I'm afraid that I've kept you for too long. It's been a pleasure.
It has been, my lord. It is always an honor to see you.
Charming. Well, I best let you go. And you can see that the dream sand that the plane is constructed of begins to kind of fall apart. The image of this verdant clearing and the lightning bugs begin to dissolve almost, melting away into the dream sand that you're so familiar with, the iridescent sheen that kind of covers across it. And you wake with a start. And that is where we're going to take a break. Alright, so we will see you guys in a second or two, I don't know, usually a couple of minutes.
As long as
yeah,
the damn one.
as long. Hello everyone, welcome back. We are currently traveling on the road. We're currently traveling on the road to Helior. There's dabbing going on. Let's get back into the session to stop it. I don't even know what to say. I suffer.
Sorry, I just looked over at James' computer screen and saw the stupidest fucking.
What are you looking at, James? No.
What do you Leeds new prime minister dies of cringe.
Oh my god.
Alright, as you come back to
Queen is
consciousness,
Oh my god.
as you come back to consciousness, Abelard,
Yep.
you have never before had a dream, but as was explained to you, you come to realize that this is really just a way of your god communicating with you. And right before you wake up, you are filled with a sense of warmth and almost comfort as you come back into consciousness, kind of swaying gently on the caravan. You can hear the soft sound of the horses who's traveling down the dirt path. What would you guys like to do? You, I would say, probably have a couple of hours left, depending on when you guys were.
I will play my drums. I want to practice my drums.
Do you have drums?
Yes, I have a hand drum. I'm going to practice with my hand
Roll
drum.
a performance check for me, please.
Ooh, performance check.
It's gonna be like a 3 and I'm about to be sitting there just
A nat
staring.
20. That's a nat
Oh,
20.
never
Nat
mind.
20?
I'm deep.
So,
I be
Gilbert,
bopping.
what do you play for people?
I play fucking Ding Dong the Witch is Dead from Wizard of Oz
Abelard's gonna throw
in
it back.
honor of Queen Elizabeth.
Oh my god.
Oh
Tried
no.
to-
Too soon.
Alright, so
Died.
as the sunlight begins to kind of creep over the mountain ranges again, everybody throughout the caravan can hear the sound of Gilbert rhythmically drumming on this hand drum. Ding Dong the Witch is Dead, continuing as you go down the path. Anybody else want to do anything for the day, or shall we?
Imagine I'm just sitting out front, just brooding.
Sure.
Just like.
So nothing happened during the night, during the shifts, or anything like that?
No,
I
nothing that
imagine-
you noticed.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I'll just wait and I'll look for the. Do I see that Dilbert's playing the drums?
Yeah, you can hear Gilbert playing the drums.
Who's playing that? I mean, it's catchy, but who's playing that?
It was me.
You
I
play
keep
the
playing.
You play the drums?
Yeah.
Have you? Where are you hiding those drums?
I don't know. It's kind of just visible on my backpack.
I now look at my. Hey, wait. Okay.
Just imagine like a mini bra, just on drums.
Well, a different way to wake up, but I gotta say, it was actually really good.
I know. Sometimes I'm kind of cracked.
Kind of cracked.
Abelard just twerking.
Is that a?
You don't see me, I'm the other side of a caravan. Some random woman.
I'm gonna,
She thrown it back as well.
I'm gonna
I
say,
throw one back for Queen Liz.
I'm gonna say, as we continue on down the path,
That
based
person's
on the
laptop.
silliness that's occurring here, you guys make it to Down probably at around 6 at night. It's been a relatively pleasant journey.
Okay.
Not Down, sorry, Helior.
I was gonna say, damn.
Yeah.
Not Down.
That's
My apologies.
That's fast travel shit, guys.
My apologies. You make it to Helior. As you approach, you can see that this is a very quiet, almost sleepy kind of farming town. There's not too many houses scattered around the area. It seems a lot smaller than Ormirum, and there's definitely not as strong a military presence. So you don't see any guards kind of using it as a thoroughfare to get to the Soltaran borderlands. You can see that there are some farmers still working in the tillage, kind of ploughing using horses. It seems as if most of the people here live a very quiet life. You can see that there are spirals of smoke kind of curling up out of chimneys and reaching up into the sky. There's very much a theme of small stone cottages with kind of heavy wooden beams that kind of span across the front and swinging lampposts. You can see that there are several caravans that appear to be exiting the town, almost like a procession of sorts. And actually, you're still in the front, or
Yep.
are you? Shall I get you to roll a perception check for me, please?
Crit fail.
Crit fail.
Don't see shit. Too busy throwing it back.
As you're peering at these caravans, you look a little bit closer and your eye is caught on what appears to be a small toad hopping across these well-worn cobblestone
Yo,
paths.
let's catch a toad.
That kind of goes down a sharp incline in the center of the city and kind of hops into a well.
What the fuck is that?
For the rest of you, you can see that the caravan that was previously trailing you is no longer. Perhaps has passed you in the night or has veered off in a different direction.
Before we stopped for the night, were they still behind us? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys didn't stop for the night.
Oh, we
You
didn't stop for the night.
continued on and did regular shifts, but you didn't notice.
Okay. Well, that's how you make coverage, I guess. Yeah, nice.
Well, so we've gone missing.
What?
He's in a different caravan than us.
Oh, yeah, there's two caravans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm with Nadria and Maylin in the
Yeah.
half elf's caravan. Side by
You're
side.
traveling together.
There was another.
side by side, there was another one.
There was
behind
another
us.
caravan
Oh, okay.
behind us. Yes.
I got so confused there for a second. I was like, where'd we go?
I've kidnapped you all. And then, you know what? This is over. This campaign's over.
Two campaigns at the same time.
Yes.
Split the party, make her run two different sessions.
You can see that the composition of the city is almost in a square of sorts. So there's a large building. It's still by no means as expansive as the tavern that you'd seen before in Ormerum, but this tavern definitely seems to be better constructed, whereas the Ormerum one was kind of haphazardly expanded with a mismatch of leaning wood. This one seems to be just a thick stone double-story tavern with a swinging lamppost light in front and kind of bright glowing windows. You can see people kind of exiting and entering the building, and appears to be right in the center of the town itself. What do you guys like to do?
Look at the is it the half elf? Elf who's Miriam?
So you would be with Miriam.
Yeah.
The half elf is kind of a little ways away from
Cool.
you. You guys are at the.
I'll ask her if she needs any help with anything.
Well, just pretty much haggling our wares here for any of the interested party. We'll probably just set up on the outskirts of town, do some digging, and see if we can find anything. But should be leaving in about a day or two. So, if you need anything,
Be good to have a look around.
now might be the time to go and have a look and see what you can pick up. You watch as she kind of returns to halting the caravan right on the outskirts near kind of a large oak tree, but it's kind of sandwiched in between what appears to be a cattle pen and a what looks like a small shed of sorts. You can see that there are people that are kind of skirting around the area, but nobody seems to stop at the moment. Some are kind of looking up in interest at this mismatch kind of colourful caravan, and obviously they've never seen a plague doctor sitting at the helm of one of these, so very interested in just the general
Hmm.
composition of your party.
So there's cattle pens with like cows, I assume, and stuff in
Yeah.
it. I'm immediately gonna run over to that. Like, what the fuck is this?
You can see that there are only probably 6 cows at the moment in this pen. It's clearly not where they're housed for the night. It seems as if this is more of a somewhere that they're just being held at the moment. But you can see it's in relatively good condition, despite the fact that there are a lot of the grass has been just chewed up and kind of left with thick slabs of empty, bare patches in the middle of this grass where the cows have eaten away at it.
What time of day is it currently?
I'd say it's probably 6 at night.
6 at night. Okay.
So like sunset, kind of. But just like,
I'll just get out of the caravan and start stretching.
Kruger, is this also horse?
No, that's a cow.
Cow.
Yeah, they go moo, and they're for farming.
Does a cow go moo, or like does it make a slightly different noise than one that Kruger just made?
I mean, roll a nature check for me, please.
Do I have any good? No, it's an intelligence check, and my intelligence is completely average. 12.
These seem like eldritch beings to you, but they're not currently making any sound. They're just staring at you.
I'm just staring back.
You've never seen a cow before?
Can I try create a telepathic link to one?
Sure.
Oh yeah, you.
Hello.
What are the requirements for a telepathic link?
Do you need to share a language?
Right. Where is it? Where's my telepathy? There's the mind link response.
It'll be in like your features. So near the
Actions,
bottom.
inventory, spells.
Yeah, I think it's a racial
features.
feature. Isn't
Yeah.
Yeah, the racial features of
Here we go. You can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand, but the creature must be able to understand at least one language.
Do cows understand language?
Like maybe a little bit. They might understand certain words, I'd assume.
Hello. Just like telepathy. Like this cow.
Doesn't seem to understand that word. But seems to look at you and just kind of blink.
Like they're docile animals. They don't understand people.
Do you know I telepathically or do you? They're just looking at me staring at
I
this
don't know
cow.
that. Yeah, true. Ignore that. I'm just like, are you? What are you doing?
I just turn immediately around. I'm asking it questions like with telepathy directly to Kruger. I'm asking it questions.
Okay, what are you asking the cow?
Oh no, I'm just saying that to Kruger.
Wait, did you say
Right.
that telepathically?
Yeah.
Okay. I say out loud. How did you do that?
Oh, you guys can't do that. We can.
No.
We can just. I'm arguably it is a bit strange for me to be talking with my mouth. We typically don't do that a lot in Dreamplay. We can kind of just. Basically, I can have private conversations from my. So, for example, and then I'll go to telepathy and I'll do the mind link response with Kruger, and I'll like speak. I'll be like, we can kind of do this, and you can respond to me now.
I try responding in my head. Hello, is this working?
Yeah.
What? My face is like.
I can't do this. I can only do it with one person at a time, but it allows us in the dream plane because it's very packed and growth here. We can talk to each other.
Okay.
It's also quite good for the wastes where we don't want to make too much noise.
Okay. That's cool. That's awesome. That'll come in handy. I can talk in my mind. Whoa! Echo.
I mean, you
There's
could.
no echo.
I mean, you could always talk in your mind. It's just that now
like, you can
someone
hear
can
it.
hear you. Yeah.
That's.
Well, I can hear you for a bit. I can also. I'll just turn it off. I'll be like, I can also turn it off.
Can you like read people's minds without them knowing, or do they have to like consent?
I can't really read someone's minds. I mean, like, I can kind of help with people's dreams and make them better or worse, but I can't do a lot, per se.
Oh, you guys are so cool.
Imagine if I got more powerful, I could do some spells that might be able to allow me to do it, but I wouldn't be able to do it from any innate features.
So you trying to talk to the cow with your mind? Cows are not the smartest animal around, So I
Oh,
doubt.
it is an animal. Okay.
Yeah.
I
You
thought
know,
it was an eldritch thing.
They eat grass and they make milk, and then we use milk to make things like butter and cheese. And sometimes when we don't need the cows anymore, we cut them up and then we eat them for steak and meat.
I'm just like writing down like milk, cheese.
Do you know what milk is?
Just shake my head.
Oh, we've got so much to teach you, bud.
I would love to learn. What is cheese?
I will go into visceral descriptions of what Kruger can tell about milk and cheese as a child.
I'll just be writing furiously.
Alright, so you guys, as you begin to have this discussion about cheese and dairy, you eventually hear the cow with a kind of mournful noise.
What the fuck was that noise? That was not the moo you said.
Oh, it's like a low mood.
Oh, so the moo is like you're saying what the sounds like in people speak, but it is not quite what
exactly.
Ah, okay.
Exactly. They're friendly creatures. I mean, unless you piss it off, it might kick you or poop on you.
I will start trying to climb the fence and see if anyone stops me.
Oh, okay.
Don't climb fence.
Don't.
Okay,
that's
no.
That's
Oh,
a
no.
Climb the
farmer's
fence. What's the worst that could happen?
What is the worst that can happen, Kruger?
The owner of the cow might not like you encroaching on its property.
Fair enough. I will respect right to property.
Oh. Okay.
I'll respect their right to property. Aw.
Wow. Not very. Where are we headed? Not very run along of you.
I only heard that city's name like a day ago. I am like 2 days ago. I
Do we want to I don't know, go through the town? See, it's getting late, but stay at the tavern. We could camp out for the night. We could stay with the caravans.
I would love to see if they have any temples.
Temple?
Yeah.
Investigation check for me, please.
14.
With a 14, you get the sense that most people who are praying in this area are usually doing it at home. There doesn't seem to be any structures specifically for... there doesn't seem to be any elaborate structures of temples. You can see on the outskirts of the city that there are small, kind of, not effigies, but almost totems for certain gods. You recognize that there are several for the... let me see, I just want to get this right. You can see that there are several totems for Sul, the goddess of harvest. You can also see that there are some for Bars, the god of the wild. But it seems like mostly in this area, since it's so agriculturally focused, that people... It's not necessarily a poor area, but it's working. So most of the people here don't really have time to go off and pray in a temple or to construct a temple. Most of them are just kind of praying either at home or to some of these totems that they've kind of set up to bring them good fortune and bountiful harvest. Okay.
Kruger's gonna go and explore the town a little bit and see if there's anybody who needs any minor assistance or if there's any trouble. And he's gonna say, "I'm gonna go have a look around town. Does anyone want to come?
I'll come. I would love to see more of this land.
Guys, what are you guys? What are you gonna do? You gonna stay with the caravan? You want to come sightseeing? I've never been around here before.
Come along, why not?
I'm standing in the caravan inactive.
Prod. Come along, why not?
Sorry, where are we going?
Just on a wander.
A wonder?
Hey guys, you want to come up? You want to come have a look around the new town?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
We're in Helior, so I mean it's nearly dark, but might as well see what the place is about. See if there's anything cool to sightsee or something like that.
Sure.
Alright. So the whole gang, I assume, is going?
Yeah.
But we may as well just include Amelin and Nadria for that one, I think, as well. Okay. So roll an investigation check for me. I'll let you have advantage because everybody's kind of looking around and helping you out. map. We can't ruin the map.
On the map. 16.
16. So you're looking for. Are you looking for anything in particular, or?
Anything of notable interest, like a particular building that's like maybe it's like stands out amongst the rest, or like any unusual activity, like anything shifty or dodgy, or some form of celebration, just anything that's significant stands out.
Sure. So at the center, you passed as you come to the center of town. You'd passed the massive building that you can see now as you get closer is called Oren's Inn. So it looks as if that's kind of the focal point of most people's nights. So you can see that it's relatively bustling. People that are usually working in the daytime are now kind of unwinding and relaxing. And there you can see that there's people throwing darts, and some are throwing small knives into hear raucous cheers and laughter kind of coming from inside. It appears that this is the place where most people go. You rolled a 16?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So with a 16, you do notice that there are certain parts of the town that are more like alleyways. You can see that there is a hooded figure that is kind of leaning up against a wall. You can't make out anything about them other than that in the darkness they appear to kind of blend in with the stone cottages. There's kind of a ring of barrels that are kind of in the area around them. Doesn't seem to be doing anything other than just kind of leaning up and standing there.
Just still, no movement at all.
Well, you can see that their foot's tapping.
Okay.
Their legs are kind of one crossed in front of another and kind of arms crossed and appearing to lean casually up against the wall.
Okay. Hey, Dilbert, how good are you at playing those drums? Like really, like how good are you? Are you like a professional? Were you in like a band or something like that?
Look, I don't think I've ever played those drums as good as I have in my life as I did in that caravan. So, not really that good, but I can try.
So you peaked, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because maybe we can get a little bit of coin at the inn. Maybe there's a bit of a portion.
I have other party tricks that would be a lot more